episode of the men's DIY upcycle button-up shirts. Yeah, it's like upcycle men's button-up shirts, that's what we call it, I think. But yeah, so today we are making this romper, this tie little romper, super cute. So if you're interested, then stay tuned and I'll show you how to do it right now. First, I just want to say sorry for not posting. Last week I was moving and this ended up taking a lot longer to make and edit than I thought it would. But I will still be posting every Friday starting today and next week. And so yeah, so definitely keep an eye out for those videos. But without further ado, let's just get on to the DIY. Alright guys, so you definitely need a button up for this DIY, and you don't even have to have all the buttons on it because we're actually going to take that part out. So if you have a shirt laying around that's missing some buttons, then you can definitely use that for this DIY. And then also just make sure that the fabric is like really soft, so not like a stiff fabric. You want it to be really soft so it's like a cozy jumper, you know what I mean? But yeah. Alright, first thing we're going to do is cut off the sleeves. So you can cut that wherever you want, either in or out of the hem, and then make sure you keep the sleeves because we're going to use those for the straps later. Next, just line up your button-up shirt so everything's in place and even so that when we cut the top off, it is good. And how you're going to cut the top is just cut it as high as possible so you have as much fabric to work with as possible. Next, we're going to take the pocket off because we don't want that. So I just used a seam ripper to do that and just seam rip all the way around. Try not to make any holes, take your time. And I think my shirt must have been a bit old because it was from the thrift store. So there was like a little bit of white dust or whatever. So just get out all the extra little strings and dust, and then you're good to go for that. Now the easiest way to do this and how I did it is if you already have a romper jumper that you like, use it as a template, and if you don't, that's okay, you just have to take your own measurements. But what you're going to do is take the romper and find the middle where the shorts part attaches, and then you're going to mark that on your jumper. Now we're going to take the middle part out where the buttons are. I think I like the look better where there's no buttons and it's just like that line all the way down. So turn the jumper shirt inside out, and then you're going to like flip it so it's half, if that makes sense. I think you can kind of see it here. I hope that makes sense. I think you can see it, so yeah. And then just remark where the shorts are on the inside so you can see it. Anyway, so then pin that together. As I was pinning it together, I realized it's going to be hard to go over the sewing machine with the buttons, so I just took the buttons right out. And then I just finished pinning all the way up it and took off the extra fabric so that I could sew as close to the end as possible to give myself more room. Because the farther in you sew, the less front space you'll have for your romper. So yeah, just to make sure that I would sew it evenly down and that it would be a straight line down since it will be the middle of your body, I just took a ruler. I think I did like 1.5 centimeters or something, or maybe it was half an inch. And basically I just made those dots all the way down until the part where we marked where the shorts will be. And then I made a line all the way down connecting those dots. So make sure you only sew to where we marked the shorts, because if you sew past that, then you're not going to have shorts. You know what I mean? So yeah. Now that it's sewed, flip it back, and now you can see how it's attached all the way down until the shorts part. So the front is split in two at the bottom. Now we're going to make the shorts part. So what you're going to do is kind of mark where the fold is. You want to give yourself enough room between the two leg holes, but not too much room so that you're taking too much fabric off, because you don't really want to have a huge like gap between. You kind of just want it to sit there, you know what I mean? But anyways, once you have those spots, connect it to where we ended the sewing, because you want to go right to that spot so there's no holes. And then pin that down and sew it. After you've sewn it, then just cut the slit. So now that you have shorts for both legs, so the back is cut, the front is cut, and you officially have the shorts part of your romper. Now fold the romper in half and take your original romper to line it up and kind of get the template of how big it's going to be. So I just drew down where the romper was that I wanted, and then I made sure I cut around the line enough to give me seam allowance. Then unfold it and pin down the sides so that they don't move and they are perfectly even. I also pinned down the front because we'll be hemming the front. And then for the back, I put it a little bit lower because I didn't want it as high. So I used the original romper to kind of see where the back was on that because I liked it, and then kind of pinned it there. Now I moved halfway through this DIY, so the rest of this is in a different location, but that's okay. So basically I realized if I wanted the back there, I wouldn't be able to pull it over my butt because it wouldn't fit. So I realized I had to figure out a way, and I bought a zipper, and it was on sale. That's why it looks a little funky, but I got the zipper, and basically the lady told me to make a stopper. You just take a needle and thread and you basically sew around the part of the zipper where you want it to end. So that's exactly what I did. I'm just following the lady's instructions. I am not a zipper expert, but yeah. Then I just tied it off, and that was my new stopper. Now before I hemmed the back, I realized that if I hem the back all the way across and cut through it, then I'm going to cut through the thread. So I knew I had to hem it in two different pieces where the zipper met. So I found the middle of the back and basically made a line down the length that I wanted the zipper to go. Then I just cut down that line, and then I was ready to hem the back. So again, I just hemmed the one side and then the other side. After hemming both the front and back top pieces, then I just cut off the extra fabric. Now since the front piece is higher than the back, we have to hem inward for the part of the top piece that doesn't attach to the other side, if you know what I mean. So you have to fold that part in and hem it along with the whole thing so that it doesn't have like a frayed end. I don't know if I'm explaining it the best, but I showed it here, so hopefully you get the idea. Just fold it inwards once the two side pieces are no longer connected and the top is just on its own. After that, just cut off all the extra material from the sides, tops, wherever you want it. I kept the middle kind of panel piece just because that way it was even. But you can cut that off too. Now time for the pesky zipper! So this zipper gave me some trouble trying to figure out how to do it. But the way that I figured it out is super easy, and you guys will be able to do it really easily. Again, I'm not a zipper expert, this is just what worked for me. So if you really want a tutorial on how to do zippers, maybe look one up, but this worked out really great. So since I didn't want a hem showing, I turned the jumper inside out again and then pinned down just a small section of the slit on either side. Then I just lined it up and made sure that the zipper was still a good fit. The first part I glued down was near the stopper, right onto the back of the jumper. And then I unzipped the zipper, and basically I just used hot glue to go all the way up each side. So I'd put a little bit of hot glue, take out the pin, and then glue the piece of the zipper down. And I just did that all the way up. Make sure that the actual zipper part is not attached to the little flaps. As you can see, it's attached, and we didn't have to hem it to the actual outside looking part. After that, I took a needle and thread and then just use that to make sure it definitely won't come off when I wash it or anything. You can just do needle and thread, but the reason I did hot glue is I found it really hard to keep it in place for the needle and thread, so the hot glue kind of just secured it in place enough for me to do the needle and thread, if that makes sense. Then just tie it off on both sides, and as you can see, when we flip it back outside right, the zipper is there and you don't see any hem of it. So it was really great. Now we're going to move on to the sleeves. This is the last part. So cut off the cuffs of the sleeves and then open the sleeves up by cutting up the seams. We're going to be making 4 sleeves since it's a tie, so we need 2 for each arm. So you want the back sleeve to be a little bit longer because the back part is a little bit lower. So I took the middle of the sleeve because it had the longest part since it was like a point of both of the sleeves, and those were the 2 back pieces, and then the kind of more side piece that you saw is for the front piece because it doesn't need to be as long. You can make the straps as wide as possible, but basically just make sure that both the straps are even. I also use a straightener just to flatten everything out, and then I folded each of the straps in half. I measured 1.5 inches all the way up because that was the widest possible I could make a strap with my fabric. And then about 2.5 inches down from the very top, I made a little dot and then a diagonal line because I didn't want it to end on a square. I kind of wanted the end to come together almost like a point of the strap. You'll see that later when I show you how the straps finish, but I would recommend doing that. It just probably will look a lot better. And then do that to all of the straps. I also drew the line just to make sure all the straps looked even, and I find that that is so much easier. to sew with. Now that the straps are all sewed, make sure you cut off all the extra fabric because you will not be able to invert it with all that fabric. Now that you have all the straps, we're going to invert them. So normally I take a safety pin from one end and feed it all the way through, but since we only have one open end, you kind of just got to do it with your fingers. It takes a little bit of time, not too long, and just feed it through with your fingers. So like push it up, pull it down, push it up, pull it down until it's all the way through. Then pull out the little end. I use tweezers to help me do that. And as you can see, there's that little end that looks good and it's not like a square. Now that you have all of those, we're going to attach them to the jumper. As you can see, there's two longer ones, which are the back ones, and two shorter ones, which are the front ones. So when I attached the straps, I inverted the bottom so that when we sew it on, there won't be any fraying in the future. It just kind of seals it off. Then I decided to attach the back straps first. So basically I measured how long each of the back panels were, which was 7.5. And then I just divided it in half, 3.75. So I measured 3.75 inches and made a little dot with white eyeliner so it wouldn't show. Then I just pinned them in place, and I actually hand stitched the straps on because I find if I hand stitch it, I can put the thread exactly where the sewing machine one is on the front, and that way it doesn't look like two different hems. For the front, I wanted to actually take in the side a little bit more because it was slightly wide for my shoulders that the straps would have been falling off. So I just folded them over the straps, as you can see, and I actually ended up hemming it all the way up again. Just on the sides there, I hemmed it all the way up so that it was secure. Also again, inverting the bottom of the straps so that there's no fraying. But yeah, once you have that, you finally have your romper and you can wear it for the summer, which is coming and it's here, and have fun and enjoy your romper because you worked hard on it. Cool. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and definitely let me know if you ended up making this and if you like it. And other than that, I will see you guys on Friday with a brand new video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye!